Turner Field in Atlanta for the final interleague weekend of the season. The Boston Red Sox in Atlanta to take on the Braves. And hi again, everybody. Alongside Eric Karros, I'm Tom Brenneman. Welcome to Baseball on Fox. The Boston Red Sox clearly over the last month and a half, Eric, have been the best team in the American League.
Well, you know, if I've got to pick a team to win a 7-game series right now, I pick the Boston Red Sox. I mean, they've had good pitching. They've had a lot of production. But really, for me, David Ortiz, he's resurfaced. April and May, only one home run. Here he gets a hold of one last night. That's his 7th home run in June. For everybody that thought he was done, he's not done yet.
Well, he's got a tall order today. Atlanta right-hander Javier Vazquez, going back to the end of May, his ERA is exactly 2, and he's coming off a shutout of Chicago on Monday night. Boston won the opener here last night. Chipper Jones and the Braves will try and even the series against Tim Wakefield. First pitch coming up next. Is hot. Temperatures expected to climb up to 100 degrees here today. Let's take a look at Boston's starting lineup, brought to you by Taco Bell. Think outside the bun. Dustin Pedroia will lead off at second base with J.D. Drew in right. Kevin Youkilis over at third. David Ortiz again at first base. Mark Kotsay the start in left with Jacoby Ellsbury in center. A ladder third of the shortstop Julio Lugo, so Nick Green a rare day off. George Gutierrez will catch Tim Wakefield. And on the mound, 32-year-old Puerto Rican who's been on quite a roll here of late. We mentioned a 2.06 ERA in the month of June. Right-hander Javier Vazquez.
Yeah, he's been great this month. You really, you know, for him to do well today, you know, he has to stay away from certain guys. And those certain guys, you got the double Ds. Dustin Pedroia, J.D. Drew. They've hit Vazquez extremely well. Vazquez needs some run support. I mean, in his last 6 starts, he's got a 2.88 ERA, only 1 win to show for it.
That pitcher profile on Javier Vazquez is brought to you by Sprint. Well, right now is the perfect time For the Budweiser opening pitch, reach for the perfect balance of flavor and refreshment. Budweiser, the great American lager. And you can hear it already. Red Sox Nation well represented wherever the Red Sox play on the road. And that is the case here at Turner Field in Atlanta this weekend. The reigning American League's most valuable player, Dustin Pedroia, to lead things off. Checks in at .292, a couple of home runs, 30 runs batted in. Javier Vazquez turns it loose, and it's ball one low and away. This game is underway. Officially, the game time temperature 95 degrees. A ball and a strike. They might tell you 95, but Mr. Karros, you have been on the field for thousands of games back in your career. It tends to be a little bit warmer down in that bowl with this crowd surrounding it.
Well, it gets warmer down there, and then on top of that, you'll start to sweat a lot. Your uniform will get heavy. You know, during a day like this is when you change your uniform top a couple times during the game.
1-1-2 Pedroia misses outside, 2 balls and a strike. Vazquez has only allowed more than 2 runs in a game one time going back to the 25th of May. Into the 7th against Arizona, gave up an earned run, 2 runs against Milwaukee, 1 run in 8 innings and a no decision against the Pirates. And then finally got a win for his efforts his last time out. 6 2/3, 9 hits, no runs against the Chicago Cubs in a makeup game here this past Monday.
Well, you hit it right on the head, though. He didn't give up any runs. The opposing team did not score. Fortunately for the Braves, they did score 2 runs, but that's been the problem. I mean, he's pitched great, but when you talk about no run support, I'm not talking about 4 or 5 runs. I'm talking about no run support.
In the air down the right field line near the stands, a long run for Francoeur, and he runs out of real estate. The judiciary for today's game, Marty Foster, will call the balls and strikes, joined by Chad Fairchild, John Hirschbeck, and Wally Bell. Mr. Hirschbeck is the crew chief. Vazquez came over during the offseason from the Chicago White Sox. Spent most of his career pitching for them, the Montreal Expos. Spent a season in Arizona before going to the Yankees. And after an extended at bat, Pedroia dumps one into left field to start the game with a base hit.
Well, Pedroia has great numbers against Vazquez, and this pitch misses the spot. You see where McCann has to move his glove. Pedroia just drives the ball into left field for a base hit. Now 8 for 11.
Of course, Terry Francona reshuffled the deck a bit as far as his batting average or his batting order is concerned a little over a month ago. And he moved from Pedroia batting second. That one ripped down the line foul. Moved him to the leadoff spot and dropped Jacoby Ellsbury down to the number 7 slot. Now, Pedroia has been great in his career batting in the 2-hole. Not nearly as accomplished batting leadoff.
Well, I think they felt that Pedroia could handle that top spot, and really it was a move to take some of the pressure off Ellsbury, and he's flourished down in the lineup.
0-1 to Drew, misses up and away, a ball and a strike.
You know, that's one thing that Terry Francona has had to do, as we see Kevin Youkilis there. He's had to mix and match. He's had to move David Ortiz from that customary 3rd spot. Moved him. Things have happened. You know, Lowell's been hurt. He's been in and out. But there's been a lot of managing going on this year for Terry.
Well, what a fabulous job Terry Francona has done. 4 times has taken Boston to the postseason. Of course, twice has won it all in 2004 and again in 2007. Last year lost in 7 games in the American League Championship Series to Tampa Bay. Last night picked up his 800th managerial win. It's funny how a guy gets real smart when he goes to Boston with a lot of good players. They thought he was a dummy in Philadelphia. He's done all right.
Well, he's done a good job, and there's no question that, as far as managing a game, he can do that as well as anybody. But I think the way he manages his players, as far as personalities, creating the type of environment, that's what has allowed him to be very successful in Boston.
Runner goes, pitch misses, throw down to second is in time to get Pedroia. McCann known more for his offense, but don't be fooled. If you give him a chance to throw out would-be base stealers, he'll do it.
A good quick feet, fires it down there, and this infield has been watered down. So it is a bit muddy, a bit slow. It's because of the heat. The grounds crew is out early, really soaking this thing up. So the track is not going to be as fast in these first few innings.
Now the payoff pitch to Drew. We'll do it again. The first two at-bats, you're getting a real good indication of why Terry Francona likes Pedroia and Drew batting 1-2 in the batting order. They will make guys work on the mound. Both will take a walk, and both get on base with a high level of frequency. Still 3-2.
Well, and they do it in different manners. Pedroia is going to go up to the plate and battle and foul pitches off and foul the ball off here and there. That's how the pitch count elevates. With a guy like J.D. Drew, he'll go up there and he'll take a pitch. He'll take a pitch. Then he'll foul one off. Then he'll take a pitch. So it's two different ways to get the same result in making the pitcher work.
7 pitches thus far in this at bat, and here comes number 8. And that's strike 3 call.
Well, a nice pitch by Vasquez, and you see McCann, he doesn't move the glove. It's right there, and it stays right there. And he hits his spot earlier when we saw Pedroia get that base hit. McCann moved his glove clearly across the plate, showing that Vasquez did not hit his spot.
Now Kevin Youkilis, 307 hitter, 12 home runs, 42 runs batted in. Strike 1. Vasquez has been a real enigma throughout his entire career. He has fabulous stuff. You talk to hitters that have faced him through the years, and they'll tell you that he would be very high on the list of guys you do not want to face on a regular basis. And the numbers certainly back it up. Over the last 11 years, he has the 3rd most strikeouts in all of baseball, the 5th most innings pitched. Among the league leaders year after year in quality starts. Having said all that, his career record is 3 games under 500.
Well, remember, he was doing a lot of that with the Montreal Expos, a franchise that, for all intents and purposes, wasn't spending a lot of time in the upper part of the division. The White Sox, a better club.
Another base hit. 3 hitters, 2 hits. But a runner stands at first with 2 out in the inning.
Well, it's interesting because the start he had the other day against the Cubs, you see this fastball out over the middle of the plate. Youkilis drives it to left. But the start he had the other day against the Cubs, in the first inning, he gave up 3 hits, but escaped without giving up any runs. Here with 2 hits, and all he's got is a man on first with 2 outs.
Now Big Papi David Ortiz has reached a career milestone already this week and is zeroing in on yet another. Hit his 297th career home run here last night, so obviously 3 away from that magical number 300. He reached and surpassed the 1,000 RBI plateau with a 3-run home run Wednesday night.
And Terry Francona talking to him yesterday. Not only is he swinging the bat, but he also brings that presence, that fear that, a lot of other teams, a lot of pitchers didn't have to worry about in April and May.
Check swing, they appeal, and yes, he went around, says Wally Bell. 0-2 on David Ortiz.
Well, you see David Ortiz just commits a bit early. The ball starts to time up. He can't get his hands out. Vasquez, nice location on that pitch.
Slight shift. for the left-handed batting Ortiz. Of course, oftentimes you'll see, certainly in years past, you'll see the shortstop on the first base side of the second base bag. But Ortiz not pulling the fastball with the frequency that he has in years past.
No, it's almost as if he has to cheat a little bit to catch up to that fastball. Although as of late, he is showing the hand speed that he's had in the past.
Change up, and Ortiz will not chase it. 1-2.
You know, talking to Big Papi yesterday, he was mentioning, you know, look, he was getting so many suggestions that it was almost like overload. And finally, Dave Magadan just said, look, we see you every day. We see you take batting practice. Let us help you. He did, and things have turned around.
Fooled by the changeup there, and the inning is over. 2 hits, 2 strikeouts. A scoreless first for Boston. Tim Wakefield making a milestone start. We'll tell you about that in a moment. Who thought we'd see career numbers with the Red Sox like this, including career starts? And by making the start today, we'll tie Roger Clemens for the most in franchise history. Amazing.
Well, it really is. I mean, his durability, his reliability. You know, but that's what a knuckleball pitcher does. I mean, for Tim to be effective, he's got to go out there and work quickly. And especially in this heat, that is very important. And he likes to dance. You know, when I say likes to dance, not figuratively, but with that movement on that ball, it's all over the place. And it makes it tough for hitters.
Our sprint pitcher profile on Tim Wakefield, 42 years old. He'll turn 43 on August the 2nd. Gregor Blanco getting a start in center field, playing in his 15th game, only 2 hits in his first 19 at bats. And there's a roll where Dustin Pedroia won away. I mean, put it into perspective for a minute. When you talk about Wakefield, he broke in with the Pirates, had that sensational rookie year in '92 when he won 8-1 in 13 starts with an ERA right at 2. The following year he lost 11. And the Pirates turned him loose. Boston signed him as a minor league free agent on the heels of a 15-loss season in AAA. The following year he won 16 games for Boston in 1995 and has never looked back.
Well, and that's the beauty of a knuckleball pitcher. I mean, if you can harness that knuckleball, if you can show another pitch every once in a while, I mean, you're never out of the game.
Martin Prado fouls it straight back. 0-2. Boy, take a look at that picture. John Smoltz, after 20-plus years with the Atlanta Braves organization, sits in the third base dugout for this series with his new team, the Boston Red Sox. Of course, he returned after missing, well, right at a full year. All those great seasons with the Braves. Won a Cy Young Award, part of that championship team in '95. That ball hit hard into right, but Drew backing up on it makes the grab for the second out of the inning. Atlanta's starting lineup under manager Bobby Cox is brought to you by Taco Bell. Think outside the bun. We've seen Blanco and Prado. Here comes Chipper Jones. Brian McCann in the cleanup spot. Garrett Anderson in left. Casey Kochman at first. The latter third at Jeff Rancourt. Diori Hernandez starting for the injured Yunel Escobar at short. And Vasquez on the mound. Whereas Bobby Cox, the skipper of those Atlanta teams, led by Chipper Jones, that ripped off 14 consecutive division titles. But now it's been 3 years in running since the Braves were in the postseason last.
Well, I think 3 years in running they haven't finished higher than third. And it's not as if they've even been at the top of the division. But a lot of it goes back to all those years. I mean, the pitching that was here was as good as it gets. Glavine, Maddox, Smoltz. Couple that with guys like McGriff and Justice Galarraga. I mean, bottom line, they just had great players here.
2-2 to Chipper. And a roller again Pedroia's way. And a 1-2-3 inning for Tim Wakefield. End of one. We are scoreless in Atlanta. You're watching baseball on Fox. Talked to him lately?
Yeah, I actually talked to him last week, and I'm going to see him this Saturday or Friday, actually.
Oh, you're doing a game there, yeah.
Doing the game, and then going to.
Sponsored by Taco Bell. Think outside the bun. By Sprint. Get more done with Nextel Direct Connect only on the Now Network. And by Gillette Fusion, Gillette's closest, most comfortable shave. We're in Atlanta. End of one, no score. Mark Kotsay getting the start in left field today, replacing Jason Bay. And first pitch swinging Kotsay, and he drops it foul off to the third base side, strike one. Kotsay had back surgery during the offseason, began the year on the disabled list, and just came back at the start of this month. Well, no Jason Bay, as we mentioned, in the lineup. What an unbelievable year he's having. Certainly on his way to the All-Star game, as it's 1-2 on Mark Kotsay.
Well, and he's really picked up things when, David Ortiz was not being productive. Jason Bay in May, 10 home runs, 30 RBIs. From a power standpoint, really carried this Red Sox club. But that's the thing about this team, the way it's constructed. There are a number of guys that can get hot for a period of time, and you can run on their shoulders.
I mean, the numbers Bay has put up not only this season but since coming over last year from the Pirates. The most RBIs among all American League players, 4th most home runs, 4th the best slugging percentage, and even the runs scored category. Well, that at bat Vasquez had get away. Jumped in front of Kotsay, 0-2, and walked it. Well, Bay will be on his way to the All-Star game, and we'll have it for you right here on Fox. President Barack Obama will throw out the first pitch during the Pepsi All-Star pregame show. Coverage begins Tuesday, July the 14th from St. Louis right here on Fox, 8 Eastern, 7 Central, 5 Pacific. Strike called on the outside corner to Jacoby Ellsbury.
And we talk about some of the lineup movement that Terry Francona has dealt with this year. This was one of the most probably important moves, and what has turned out to be one of the most productive, moving Jacoby Ellsbury out of that leadoff spot, down in the order where he's flourished. Taking that pressure off of him, leading off a game, feeling like he's got to take pitches or do certain things. And eventually he becomes that leadoff hitter again, but right now, because he's done so well, Terry's decided to leave him in this spot.
The amazing thing about that decision, when Terry Francona dropped him from the leadoff spot down into the 7 hole, is he had a 22-game hitting streak that had just come to an end. I mean, normally you want that guy batting as many times in every game as possible. But he was thinking, of course, about the big picture for his team, and in the long haul, what gives them the best chance to score runs and beat opponents. And he felt like Ellsbury in this spot right now, it's the best for him. He said before the game, one day he'll end up back in the leadoff spot. And I asked him, does that mean this year? He said no. Unless somebody gets hurt or something were to happen. But looking down the road, he probably goes back in a leadoff hole. Struck him out. Good hard fastball up under his hands.
Well, this pitch just runs in on his hands, and for a left-handed hitter facing that slider coming from the right-hander, very tough, especially when it's thrown in that location. You see, check this dirt out, and the difference in color right here as opposed to over here. That is because it's all wet. It is soaking wet. The field crew just absolutely doused it with water. So any ball that's hit right there, it's not going to scoot through the infield. It's going to get muddied up. Infielders have an opportunity to make a play.
Getting a rare start at shortstop today. Their one-time regular shortstop, Julio Lugo. Toward the meniscus in his right knee very early or late in spring training, just before the season was getting ready to get started. And of course that allowed ultimately Nick Green to get a chance to play, coupled of course with the injury to Jed Lowry, their regular shortstop. But Green got a lot of at-bats when Dustin Pedroia was away with Team USA during the WBC. Kevin Youkilis was away. And every day Green went out there, he played better and better. And he'd have a couple of hits this game, 2 more the next game, maybe a day off, 2 more the next day. And then all of a sudden, for a non-roster guy, you're saying, I want to see a little more of this guy.
Well, and they've been seeing a lot of him as of late as the starting shortstop, getting the day off today. But as you mentioned, he's been doing it with the bat and doing it in the field. Strong arm. You see this pitch just out in front of it a bit, Lugo.
Green had that game-winning home run against Atlanta, and Jeff Bennett last weekend in Boston. Second time he's had a game-ending home run. The other time, ironically, was wearing an Atlanta uniform to beat Boston. That pitch in the dirt. 2-2 now to Lugo.
Well, and that's the thing. He came up with the Atlanta organization. Speaking to first base coach for the Braves, Glenn Hubbard, and he was talking about what a joy it is to work with Nick Green, and even in the off season, Nick comes back here and Hubbard will throw to him. But just a real good guy that you constantly root for.
Still 2-2 to Lugo.
But that's the thing about Boston, and what separates them from a lot of ball clubs is their depth. You can run a Green out there, or Lowry takes over when Lugo's hurt. Mark Kotsay can go to first base. He could play center field. He's playing left today. I mean, the depth is second to none. See Mr. Bennett right there. He's on the disabled list. A little frustrated. Punched a wall the other day, and the wall won. He'll be out for a few weeks. See the hand there.
That is not recommended.
Not good. It's not a good career move. Just never seems to work out well.
He was worried that Bobby Cox and Roger McDowell and Frank Wren, the general manager, there goes a runner, and it's in the air, pretty well hit to left field. Backing up now at the track is Anderson, and in front of the wall makes the catch. Retreating quickly back to first, Kotsay, 2 gone in the inning.
You see Garrett Anderson going back and finding the wall, and this ball up very high and drifting. Now watch this, though. Mark Kotsay, as a runner, watch him go around second base. He realizes Anderson catches it. He has to retouch second base on his way back to first. If he doesn't, they can appeal it to second base. Kotsay out.
George Kateris getting the start behind the plate with Tim Wakefield on the mound and Jason Varitek with a day off. Kateris only 62 at bats this season, hitting .242. He has 9 doubles. It's a pretty good number for a guy with right around 60 at bats.
Yeah.
0-2.
Well, you couple it with the 60 at bats and the not much speed, and then the doubles do look that much more impressive.
Of course, you would know nothing about the not much speed part.
That's exactly right.
That's why you just hit him over the fence.
I lived it every day of my life. No speed.
Oh, and 2 on Kateris. Runner at first with 2 out. And there's strike 3 called. Fastball on the inside corner. Vasquez, 4 strikeouts in the game. Brian McCann will lead things off for Atlanta in a scoreless game. the second inning against the knuckleballer Tim Wakefield. No score. Game 2 of his 3-game weekend series. In fact, back-to-back weekend series between these two teams. Brian McCann has become the best offensive catcher in all of baseball going back to 2006. The leader, if not second or third, in every major offensive category. And I recall when this young man came to the big leagues on the heels of the breakout year by Francoeur. And John Sherholtz, their longtime general manager at the time, saying everybody's excited about Francoeur as McCann takes the walk to begin the inning. He said, but believe me when I tell you, we feel like McCann is going to be the star. He batted third on all those teams with Francoeur coming up through the minor leagues.
Well, and he's been right on. I mean, as far as the National League, when you talk about the most prolific offensive catcher right now in the game, it's not even up for argument. Brian McCann wins hands down right now. He's doing it playing in a city like Atlanta where the weather saps you and takes all the energy out come the middle of the season.
There you get a look at John Sherholtz, who, of course, for many, many, many years was the general manager and the architect of those great Atlanta Braves teams. Now he is the franchise president. And his right-hand man for a number of those years, not once but twice, Frank Wren. Wren left for a short while to become the general manager in Baltimore. Not a lot of patience there. And so Frank, there you get a look at Frank Wren. Came back to Atlanta when Sherholtz was making the move up the ladder. Off the outside corner, 1-2 to Garrett Anderson. He played against this guy for a number of years, Eric Karros, and all the outstanding seasons he had with the Angels. Fly ball short right. Drew coming to get it. And that's the first out here in the second inning. Number of games around baseball earlier today, including Philadelphia and Toronto. Time for a DirecTV game break. In the first inning, Jason Worth, a 2-run home run, his 14th. That's in the 5th deck in left field off Brad Mills. And then the Phillies put it to bed in a 10-0 win. Watch your favorite Major League team, no matter where you live, with DirecTV. That is a long home run.
5 decks. I tell you, that Philly ball club could hit. You have their offense and you put Atlanta's starting pitching. You combine those two and you've got your World Series winner right there. You know, but that's what's left the East so wide open is, you know, there's so many issues with each club. I mean, there is not a perfect club, and that's why Atlanta, 5 games under, they still feel that they're very much involved.
Strike call to Casey Kochman, another former Angel. 1 ball and 2 strikes. There you get a look at the National League East. It's been quite a run here of late for the Florida Marlins.
Well, they've snuck back in. Remember the start they had at the beginning of the year. Everybody was excited. Hey, the Marlins this and Marlins that. Then they fell away, and you know they're going to swing the bats with anybody. Again, you can make the case for really 4 clubs. You know that they're just some pitching away, or there's some hitting away, or they're this. But nobody is a clear-cut favorite.
1-2 to Casey Kochman, and that ball is hooked down the right field line, foul. You know, the team that Philadelphia beat up today, but they are having, in my opinion, one of the most remarkable seasons of any team in the major leagues this year. Toronto, when you consider that the 5 starting pitchers they have in their rotation right now, not one of them was in their starting rotation a year ago. That ball lined to center field off the bat of Kochman for the second out of the inning. Whether it be A.J. Burnett leaving as a free agent and the other 4 starters, including Roy Halladay, currently on the disabled list. They lose today, but 6 games over 500. And you see just a game and a half behind the Yankees. Yeah, second place behind Boston.
Yeah, played extremely well. You know, I look at that club. The guy that jumps out for me, Marco Scutaro, middle infielder, having a phenomenal year, on base all the time.
Ball 1 high to Jeff Francoeur. Of course, his running mate Aaron Hill will unquestionably be in the All-Star game. 17 home runs. Terry Francona was There goes a runner. Wakefield never turned around to look, and not even a throw for Gutierrez. So McCann picks up his third stolen base in 4 attempts.
Well, you see this. Wakefield still has the ball. McCann has already taken about 4 steps. That's obviously stolen off the pitcher, but paying no attention to the runner at first.
In the air, right center field. Ellsbury will run it down, and that is that. A runner left in scoring position, and the 2 no score. We're back after a break from your local Fox station. Presented by Sears. Tim Wakefield will lead things off here in the top of the 3rd inning in a scoreless game, and he's quickly behind Javier Vasquez. Strike 1.
Yeah, this might not be pretty, but remember, he was a first baseman in the Pirate organization before he turned himself into a knuckleball pitcher.
And how about that? Base hit into center field by Wakefield to start the 3rd. And that even brings a chuckle to Terry Francona. Jacket. Yeah, does he need a jacket? First hit since 2005 for Tim Wakefield.
Does a nice job of that, though. Outside fastball, he goes right with it. I will say this, though. He's out there on the bases. This is not the day that you want your pitcher standing around out there and then having to run the bases.
Strike 1 to Dustin Pedroia. I would imagine the effect would be far greater on a guy like Vasquez, more of a power pitcher, though, than a knuckleball. Is that fair?
Yeah, I mean, that sounds reasonable, but at the end of the day, if you're standing around out there in this kind of heat, not good for you.
Hit hard, but right at Garrett Anderson. It's time for our fan cam, brought to you by Bank of America Home Loans, making a commitment to home and homeowners. Starting now, Home has a new address. A lot of Boston fans in Atlanta over the weekend. I mean, it doesn't matter what city it is. Red Sox Nation travels in like any other club in all of baseball. mean, obviously the Yankees are a big draw. Traditionally, the Braves have been a big draw. The Cubs have been another.
Well, and that's one of the interesting things on this homestand right now that the Braves are involved in. The Cubs, the Yankees, the Red Sox, then the Phillies, and really the Cubs, Yankees, and Red Sox. You may have more opposing teams' fans than you do your own. I tell you, that's one heck of a stretch. That's playing some serious ball against some serious teams right there. And started off well. Hasn't gone well as of late.
1-1 to J.D. Drew, and there's that changeup swung on and missed. Yeah, Atlanta won the one-game makeup, shutting out the Cubs with Vasquez on the mound, and they beat the Yankees the opening game of that 3-game series to start that 10-game stretch you just referred to. But then lost the final 2 to New York and dropped the opener here last night. Strike 3 to Drew. That's 5 of them for Javier Vasquez.
Again, this pitch in the lower part of the plate inside. We saw Vasquez get Ellsbury on that similar type pitch. And again, if you can run it in far enough, you'll be effective. The problem with that is sometimes that pitch just spins. It doesn't get in far enough. Ends up in the right field seats.
Ball 1 to Kevin Youkilis. Youkilis a single into left center field back in the opening inning. There's a runner at first with 2 outs in a scoreless game. And this one's in the air and playable. Coming on to get it Blanco, and that's that. So a single by Wakefield. Pedroia, Drew, and Youkilis retired in order thereafter. No score after 2.5 in Atlanta. In franchise history. Scoreless game, bottom of the 3rd. Diori Hernandez looks at a strike on the inside corner. A very sticky Atlanta-like day this time of the year on the field right at 100 degrees.
And it feels worse than that. You know, and as a player, every inning when you're coming in, you hope your trainer's got the water ready for you. You've got to drink a couple cups of water. May have the towel that's soaking in ice, got the little ammonia. You put that over your head. But very important to stay hydrated because it's very easy to cramp up on a day like this.
2-2 on Hernandez.
You know, especially where you run into trouble because you try and get a lot of energy. You may drink a lot of the caffeinated drinks, which that's great. You get a little bit of energy, but same token, you better drink some water.
Of course, we remember, 2 years ago, that's when Carlos Zambrano, outstanding right-hander of the Cubs, was drinking like 20 cups of coffee before he'd go out there and pitch and then wonder why all of a sudden he'd get in the game and be cramping up all the time. 2-2 on Hernandez. And again, swung on and fouled off over the screen.
Well, and that's why in a game like this, I mean, obviously the players are playing out on the field, but the trainers in each respective dugout absolutely play a role. I mean, you've got to make sure that guys are getting hydrated. You got to, I mean, if you have to, you get the water and you walk it to the guy and you make him drink it. So I tell you, out on the field, you just run it into the dugout. You're just trying to grab a seat and just be like, hey, I don't even care about no water. I'm just sitting down. That's the way it sounds, too.
Ninth pitch in this at bat. And it's strike three called. Hernandez thought that pitch was low and away. But home plate umpire Marty Foster, the judge and jury, says strike three.
Yeah, not anything you can do with that pitch. That pitch probably off the plate. Not going to hit it anyhow. All you hope for as a hitter, that Marty Foster gives you the benefit of the doubt, and he calls it a ball. Pitch like that, you tip your cap and say, we'll see you next at bat.
Or you throw your helmet and tell the umpire he's wrong.
Then I'm guessing you're probably not going to get another at bat.
Strike two or strike one. A 1-1 count now on Javier Vasquez.
That was that 74-mile-an-hour fastball that Tim Wakefield likes to use, that and a cutter as well, just to keep the hitters honest.
You can see that uniform jersey of Wakefield soaking wet from about mid-chest up. That one lined into right center field, and Drew got a great jump and makes the running grab for out number two.
You see J.D. Drew getting a good jump on the ball. Comes in at an angle as well. Makes a nice catch. And you see Blanco coming to the plate right now. Vasquez just lined out. As a hitter right now, you've got to take a couple pitches. Give your pitcher an opportunity to grab some water, to sit down, tell the guys next to him how hard he just hit the ball to right.
Strike one. You know, Tim Wakefield has never been to an all-star game. And when you look at his win total, the 9 wins, 3 losses, that certainly is an argument to be in the game. His earned run average at just under 4.5 perhaps would be a counter argument that he should not go. But I think universally just about everybody in baseball is rooting for this guy to get to the all-star game. There's a base hit in the center field by Blanco. I mean, he's always carried himself in such a way. You brought up earlier, you know, talking about Nick Green. I think the same holds true, though for a very different way, and all he's been through. And the people would like to see this guy make an all-star team.
Yeah, very professional. Has been behind the 8 ball a number of times. Has always persevered, come back, and you know, you've got a pretty strong case if he can get another victory, or you know, he's leading the Red Sox in victories. The Red Sox are the best team in the American League. And right there, that's good enough for me to put him on the team.
Here's Martin Prado. It's interesting to note, and I didn't think of it until just now. You were a guy that we said the same things about for many, many years. I mean, you go out and hit 30 home runs year after year after year. But correct me if I'm wrong, you didn't get a chance to play in an All-Star
never
game.
had an
And you're the
opportunity.
all-time Los Angeles Dodger career home run leader. Los Angeles Dodger.
Yeah, had some, but playing, Fred McGriff going, or a Jeff Bagwell. And, it's just the position, and sometimes guys will go through their career. I mean, I was kind of the National League guy. Tim Salmon over the American League, never went. But a guy like Wakefield, again, great job this year, has persevered, and one win away from double-digit wins.
Well, including today, Wakefield figures to make at least 3 starts between now and the All-Star break. But, of course, they announced the team prior to the All-Star break. So that 3rd start wouldn't come until after the team's been decided. And easily stealing second is Blanco. That's one thing you can't do with a knuckleballer out on the mound is run.
Well, that's the thing. As a catcher, you just go ahead, make the throw, hope that maybe the runner will slide past the bag, he'll come off. But you're not going to have an opportunity to throw out many runners when he does throw the knuckleball, as Tim Wakefield does.
2-1 to Prado, grounded down to third. Youkilis will fire to Ortiz, and for a second straight inning, the Braves leave a runner in scoring position. And to 3, no score. By Abadar and by Bank of America Home Loan. Starting now, Home has a new address. David Ortiz, Mark Kotsay, Jacoby Ellsbury in the Boston 4th inning in a scoreless game to face Javier Vasquez, and it's banged into center field. A base hit for Big Puppy.
David Ortiz gets a pitch up in the zone, head right on it, pops it right up the middle. He just feels more confident. And, besides having all the, the technical issues, getting out on your front foot or not transferring your weight, when you don't have success, then it starts to become mental, and that's even tougher to dig out of than any kind of mechanical flaw. Start doubting yourself. Start questioning whether or not, maybe my game is going away. Maybe I am getting older. And, the only thing that can bring you back is to have success. And that's what he's done, and he's jubilant and fired up again.
0-2 on Kotze. Of course, April and May well documented. Didn't hit his first home run until May the 20th. That included a 3-day benching while Boston played in Seattle. But look what he's done in 21 games in the month of June.
Well, and that's a testament to the Red Sox sticking with him.
Kotze out of there on strikes, and that's 6 of them for Vasquez.
Kotze pulling out with his front hip, not able to hit that pitch. That right there was a change of speed. That's why he was out in front. You saw the pitch still inside, but because he was already committed, his front hip flying out, with no chance.
Now Ellsbury, a strikeout victim his first time up. First pitch fastball in the outside corner, strike 1.
And remember, Ellsbury, they got him on that slider down and in. So look for Vasquez to at some point go back to that when he needs the out.
Ortiz a leadoff single at first with 1 away in the inning, and a fastball misses away to even it at a ball and a strike. Fastball again, and again it misses low and wide.
Vasquez trying to set him up, going with that pitch away. Get at Ellsbury again, leaning out over the plate, and then you can bust him hard in. He hasn't been able to get that pitch on the outer half of the plate.
2-1 on the way, and a swing and a miss on another fastball from Vasquez.
Again, continuing to go outside. So now as a pitcher, you've set the hitter's sights outside, outside, outside. And this is when you can come back in, try and tie him up, especially with that off speed low and in.
Went to the well again with that fastball, and the count is full.
Still going away. You know, one of the thoughts, because you have a runner at first base, Kochman not holding Ortiz on but playing near the base, you got a hole on the side. Still wouldn't be surprised to see him come in. Not going to do it. Going away again.
Well, obviously Vasquez and Brian McCann must, see something going over the scouting report of late with Ellsbury that tells them they feel like they can beat him with a fastball.
Well, they can beat him with the fastball, or the thinking as well is, look, we got him last time on that pitch down and in. He's probably protecting that.
Every now and again you get in this kind of count, he'll drop that overhand breaking ball on a hitter as well. 3-2. Fastball, and this should be a double play. It is. Inning over. Leadoff single. A double play wipes them clean. After 3.5, we're still scoreless in Atlanta. Bottom of the fourth inning, no score in the game. Vasquez and Wakefield locking up on this very hot summer Saturday in Atlanta. Chipper Jones grounded out to Dustin Pedroia, his first time up.
You talk about it being hot today. How about in 3 weeks when we're back here? Think it'll be hot then?
We'll be back here when the Mets are here. They're trying to move that series to New York for that weekend. Larry Wayne Jones. His father, a legendary baseball coach in the Jacksonville, Florida area. And because he was tagging along with Dad all the time, got the nickname Chipper, a chip off the old block. And the future Hall of Famer grounds out to Pedroia to begin the fourth inning. We caught up with Terry Francona a moment ago and asked him about this run his team has been on, and it's been a real good one.
Yeah, our guys have done a really good job. We've been beat up from time to time, but our pitching staff, our bullpen, I mean, we're playing the game right. So even when we lose a tough game, we move on, try to win the next day. Our guys have done a really good job.
We saw John Smoltz the other day. You know, how's he been 2 days after the fact, and you're looking forward to seeing him in his next start?
We're actually looking forward to watching him the rest of the year. There's a lot to be encouraged by. He worked hard. He did everything and probably more than we asked. Now he's back in our rotation. He's just going to try to get on the routine that the other stars are on, and it's going to pay some dividends for us.
You know, everybody knows about the role Josh Beckett is on right now, but one guy you talked a lot about before the game who's really been a big factor for your team is Brad Penny.
He's been great. He's been fun to get to know. He's worked hard again with John Farrell and our medical staff, and again, he's starting to feel pretty good about himself. This guy's been a great teammate. It's been a pleasure for me.
Terry, best of luck. Thanks for the time.
Okay, guys.
Of course, Dice K went on the disabled list. He's had a tough time of it. Some are talking about, you know, pitching so deep in the eventual championship in the WBC, but Penny has picked up the pace as that one has hit a ton down the right field line, but foul by Garrett Anderson. John Lester continues to get better and better. Beckett's probably the hottest pitcher on the planet right now. You got Wakefield. And then again, Penny, who's been a huge surprise.
Yeah, Penny has been a surprise, I think, for a lot of people in baseball. The talent's there. You know, the work ethic has been there. You know, he's acclimated himself to the clubhouse. And, you know, he doesn't want to go anywhere. He wants to stay in Boston.
Popped up to Ortiz. And a 1-2-3 fourth for Tim Wakefield. We move to the fifth. No score. Lead things off against Javier Vasquez, to be followed by George Kateris and then Tim Wakefield. No runs, 4 hits for Boston, leaving 3 men on base. No runs, 1 hit, 2 left for Atlanta against Wakefield. In the hole, backhanded by Hernandez. His throw just in time for the first out. Take a peek ahead of next week on Fox Saturday Baseball. The Mets and the Phillies. That should be a good one.
I got a better one for you.
Manny Ramirez back.
Yeah.
The Dodgers take on the Padres. Some will see the Tigers and the Twins. That's another good series. Fox Saturday Baseball presented by Pepsi comes your way 4 Eastern next week, 1 Pacific.
Dodgers, Padres, return of Manny. Dodgers, the best record in all of baseball. And me driving right down the freeway to do the game in San Diego. Tune in.
Well, you got to wonder how deep in the collective mind of the New York Mets the Phillies are. That one lined into center field by Kateris, quickly 2 away in the inning. Well, you think about the last 2 years, the way the Phillies came back to leapfrog the Mets. Wow. Meanwhile, the Dodgers, how have they done without Manning? Pretty doggone good. 9 over. An 8-game lead in the National League West. We were talking about Juan Pierre and what a resurgence in his career has taken place.
Well, again, he's been great. He had the opportunity. He filled in for Manny. He also filled in at that leadoff spot. Rafael Furcal not starting off well. That's going to be a heck of a conversation. Manny's back and Pierre goes to the bench, and he's arguably having an all-star first half. See Wakefield looking more like a pitcher right now.
He singled his first time up. Contact there, a little tardy, but hanging around. His first hit since 2005. When he singled to center field leading off the 3rd inning.
Well, Vasquez bends one right here. I'm guessing it's not going to be a very pretty swing.
Good eye there.
Yeah, good eye. I think he just felt like he couldn't reach that. That was what led to him holding up.
1-2 pitch. Struck him out. A little bend in that one, and Wakefield unable to get it. 7 strikeouts for Javier Vasquez. Braves come to bat trying to get him some support. By both starters, Tim Wakefield of Boston has allowed just one hit. Javier Vasquez has struck out 7, allowing 4 hits in this scoreless game. Casey Kochman, Jeff Francoeur, Diori Hernandez in the Atlanta 5th. 1-1 to Kochman.
You see the Braves only with 1 hit so far. You know, and there's a lot of different types of theories on how to hit a knuckleball pitcher.
Pedroia throws out Kochman.
You know, and for me, I've talked to other hitters and what their approach was. Some of the switch hitters like to stay on the right-hand side facing a right-handed pitcher like Wakefield. But for me, I played with a knuckleballer, Tom Candiotti. And I asked him, I said, you know, who is the most difficult type of hitter to throw to? You know, not necessarily an individual, but what approach? And he said a guy that would stand close to the plate and move up on the plate. He said because then it took away that whole inner half of the plate. As a pitcher, he was worried about hitting him. And that's what gave him the most trouble.
Jam shot pop up to the shortstop. Lugo retires Francoeur, and just like that, 2 are gone in the Braves' 5th inning. Well, again, our Gillette trivia question: which former All-Star holds a record for most hits in a season before the All-Star break? Right here in Atlanta, Ralph Garr. Man, could he hit, man, could he run. Dusty Baker's old roommate for many, many years. Of course, Phil Niekro, a Hall of Famer, primarily got people out with that knuckleball. And he's had an influence on the career of Tim Wakefield.
Yep. Well, and that's the thing is, you know, a lot of these guys that want to learn how to throw the knuckleball, you know, you go to a Phil Niekro, you go to a Charlie Huff. Guys that had very successful careers, mastered that pitch. And they're very receptive and very happy to teach that pitch. There aren't many that can do it.
2-0 on Hernandez. And there's a strike.
And at the end of the day, when it comes down to, do I take the time and try and figure out how to throw a knuckleball, or do I take that 9-to-5 job working at whatever respective place? I'll tell you what, man, I'd be tossing that knuckleball every single day.
Was a stock boy in a department store, his first job, he told us. And that one is lofted into center field, and that's the 2nd hit of the game for the Braves against Wakefield.
That pitch up in the zone, kind of that cliche saying, when you face a knuckleball, if it's high, let it fly, which means swing. If it's low, let it go. You know, the argument of if it's low, it's going to drop down into the dirt. If it's high, it's going to drop right into the meat area of the strike zone, just as that last pitch did.
Ball 1 to Javier Vasquez. Of course, Gutierrez catches Wakefield regularly. And any catcher, when he's catching a knuckleball pitcher, has to wear a special glove. You saw the note there a moment ago. Wakefield actually brings them along in 2 different kinds for his catchers when he's on the mound.
Well, a little bigger glove, more similar to a first baseman's glove. You know, when you talk to guys about catching a knuckleball pitcher, you've got to really wait for the ball to come to you. If you go out to try to catch it or anticipate where it's going to go, you're going to be spending a lot of time going to the backstop. You have to wait, just let the ball come to you, and then react.
1-2 on Vasquez. And a roller by the mound. Pedroia will get there, and that'll do it. A hit, a man left. The Braves have stranded 3. And at the end of 5, Boston and Atlanta very quiet.
Time over here. Second baseman. I'm from Woodland, California. I went to Hawaii. I tried surfing. Didn't really like it. I'm more of the kind of chilled out, relaxed type. I just play baseball, man. I'm from California. It's known for its salsa, and I have my own.
Yeah, I want to see it. I've never seen it.
Reigning American League Most Valuable Player, Dustin Pedroia. One of only 8 players ever to be named the Most Valuable Player, earn a Rookie of the Year award, and win a Gold Glove, along with winning a World Series during his playing career. Who are the others, you may ask? How about this quick list of players as Pedroia pops it up? Playable for the second baseman Prado. The others, I'll just give you their last names: Mays, Robinson, Rose, Bench, Munson, Ripken, and Pools. End of story.
Yeah, no comment needed there.
Fox Saturday Baseball presented by Sears, sponsored by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you got to get DirecTV. By Zantac, heartburn, attack it, Zantac. And by the new Kentucky Grilled Chicken, taste the unfried side of KFC. Strike one to J.D. Drew. Grounded foul. Vasquez just a strike machine. Not only today, but really just about every time you see him. It doesn't mean he's going to get everybody out, that he's going to shut people out, strike out 10 in a game. He'll get knocked around just like everybody else, but he will throw strikes.
And I was looking at a statistic today, too, and not only does he throw strikes, but he's got the highest percentage of swing and miss strikes of any pitcher in the game. You know, and that says a lot about his movement, about his ability to keep hitters off balance. You know, it's one thing to be a guy that can throw strikes, but it's another thing to be a guy that can throw away from contact and still throw strikes. And that's why his numbers have been so good this year, outside of the wins and losses.
Check swing and a miss by Drew. There you have it. 8 strikeouts for Javier Vasquez.
Well, the key to pitching is to mess up the hitter's timing. And if that doesn't illustrate a hitter's timing that is not there, that check swing, J.D. Drew.
Hyundai in-game box score for Boston, introducing the all-new 306 power rear-wheel drive Hyundai Genesis Coupe. Total of 4 hits, one of them by the pitcher. One by Kevin Youkilis. That came back in the first inning. In fact, 2 of the first 3 hitters that came to the plate against Vasquez in the game had hits. But since then, only a single by Wakefield in the 3rd and a single by Ortiz in the 4th.
See Wake getting that cold towel. Refreshing right there. But you talk about the pitching on both sides. Only 2 players have reached second base on either team today. And there just hasn't been any offense whatsoever.
Certainly key players are missing for both teams today as far as the starting lineup is concerned. Nate McLouth, the outstanding center fielder of the Braves, tweaked a hamstring running up the first base line last night. They figure he won't be back until Tuesday. Yunel Escobar, their shortstop, has a sore hip. And we talked about Jason Bay and Jason Varitek missing in the Boston lineup today. Well, the way these guys are throwing, it might not make much difference. – 3-1 delivery. They appeal? No. So Youkilis draws a 2-out walk, the second given up by Vasquez on the afternoon.
Well, really a type of day where, again, Terry Francona is managing. Not managing for the day, he's managing for the season. A guy like Jason Bay gets a day off. It's hot. It's a day game after a night game. You're facing a guy like Javier Vasquez. I mean, why put a guy out there on a day like this? Give Lugo a start at short? I mean, that is managing right there.
2 away for Ortiz, and some may be screaming about no Mike Lowell, but that is the dilemma of an American League team when you play without the designated hitter. Now you've got to make a determination which two play and which one sits. And for today, that's Lowell, who's been bothered with a tender hip after undergoing hip surgery. 0-1 to David Ortiz.
Well, and that's going to be something that's going to be interesting to watch. Does Lowell, with this rest and talk of getting an injection, a Synvisc injection to loosen things up, does that work? That doesn't work. That is a huge, huge hole that you have to fill at third base. I mean, defensively, the way the guy hits, the way he plays the game.
Breaking ball and a beauty from Vasquez. We talked earlier that if he's going right at the start of the game with primarily fastball changeup, second and third time through the batting order, he can break out that overhand breaking ball, and it is lethal.
Well, it's lethal. Two things: a big break, and it's so slow.
It's like a changeup here. Yep. And did not get the call. That looked like a pretty good pitch.
Well, good location in the outer half of the plate. You try to get the hitter to commit. If he does commit, pulls the hip out, no way he's going to reach that pitch on the outer half of the plate.
Runner at first, 2 away, 1-2 to Ortiz. Came with a fastball and beat him with it, but Ortiz able to foul it away. All right, you've gone changeup, fastball on the heels of the breaking ball. What now if you're Vasquez?
I've got to go off speed away. Work the outer half of the plate away from David Ortiz, because if you do miss, you don't want to miss over the inner half of the plate. Don't try to sneak a fastball. You saw what he did with a fastball in the inner half of the plate last night. Kept his hands in and hit it in the seats in right field.
Change up coming. 2-2.
And that's a good spot. Right there, you're trying to take the hitter's aggressiveness and use it against him. You don't necessarily want to throw a strike in a 1-2 count. You hope the hitter expands the zone. 2-2 right now, and you see McCann looking.
Now McCann wants that curveball, and that's what's coming here. They're going to try to sneak it in the side door. Wow.
Now this pitch is out. It's a good 4 or 5 inches outside. Now a lot of people want that, especially if you're a Braves fan, but that's not close.
And now 3-2 pitch. They're coming in with a gas. And a check swing, no on the appeal, so consecutive walks after retiring the first 2 hitters in the inning. And Boston, for the first time in the game, has a runner at second base, with Mark Kotsay coming up.
Well, this is a little cutter on the inner half of the plate. What's interesting is in April and May, a lot of guys would just go with the hard stuff, with the fastball, and they were beating David Ortiz. But you saw the way that Vasquez approached Ortiz, even when he was ahead in the count, started to go with the off speed, tried to work the corners. And that's because David Ortiz has found his stroke again, and at least for the month of June has swung the bat well.
So Pedroia popped up to begin the inning. J.D. Dew struck out. A walk to Youkilis, and after getting ahead a couple of strikes on Ortiz, Vasquez walks him. Kotsay walked in the second inning, struck out in the fourth. Scoreless game. We're in the top of the 6th inning. Strike 1. 91 pitches in the game now for Javier Vasquez on a very hot, humid Saturday in Atlanta. But his stuff appears to still be very good. 1-1.
Well, and the first thing when a pitcher gets tired, the location starts to go. Then the velocity. As you mentioned, though, not a lot of pitches coming into this inning. 73 pitches. He has walked a few, but there's a pitching coach, Roger McDowell, got the catcher's glove on.
Fouled away by Kotze, and now Vasquez jumps in front of the ball and 2 strikes. Ellsbury hoping for a chance in this inning. If he bats, more than likely that means he'll bat in a scoring inning. Two on, 2 out. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Kotze. Tried to come in on him and missed off the inside edge to even the count.
Well, he tried to sneak one on the inner half of the plate. Now you've got him 2-2. I think he goes back outside. That's where he was throwing when he worked ahead to the count. He got him 1-2. I think that's where he tries to get Kotze out now.
Break-even pitch. We'll do it again. Went with that fastball at 93 miles per hour on the outside corner. Wakefield probably doesn't want to sit down because his jersey is sticking to the bench.
He's walking around trying to stay loose. They stay loose very easy. When you sit down, you just get lethargic in this kind of weather.
2 on, 2 out. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Kotze. Lined into left field. It's a base hit to bring in the game's first run.
Really an excellent job of hitting by Mark Kotze. He knew where Vasquez was going early in the count. He was throwing pitches away. That's where he tells the hitter, I'm trying to get you out away. So Kotze looking for that pitch on the outer half of the plate. See Youkilis chugging and plugging. He's going to make it all the way around. But that pitch previous to that base hit, he fouled off a fastball in the outer half of the plate. That's where the whole idea of having a plan, making adjustments while you're up at the plate come into play. It's not just about, well, I can hit a ball real far, so I'm going to take my bat and go swing it. You've got to have an idea. You've got to have a plan, and Mark Kotze stayed with his plan and was able to execute.
Of course, July the 14th, right here on Fox, we'll have baseball's All-Star Game, beginning with a Pepsi All-Star pregame show, including the announcement of people, everyday All-Stars, and the ceremonial first pitch thrown out by the president. It all starts at 8 p.m. Eastern right here on Fox. Gerald Ford, the last president to throw out a first pitch at an All-Star game. That was back in 1976. The 2 others, Richard Nixon and John Kennedy. Ortiz a runner at second. Kotze following the RBI at first. And a breaking ball is high, and perhaps now Vasquez running out of steam.
Well, it's been a long inning. He's throwing a lot of pitches now in this inning. Your fielders have been standing around for a while. But again, that Youkilis was the first runner that the Red Sox have had at second base. Kotze, the first Boston at bat with a runner in scoring position today. 1 for 1.
The Red Sox lead the major leagues in 2-out RBIs. 1-1 on Jacoby Ellsbury. Pulled and caught by Kochman to end the inning. But consecutive 2-out walks to Youkilis and Ortiz sets the table for Kotze, who knocks in the game's only run. dancing here so far today.
A little unconventional. Usually you see all the fingers dug in there, but you see the forefinger, and been very effective today. Braves with only 2 base hits, singles.
Well, they have a top of the order, and one of the hits belongs to Gregor Blanco. And he takes on the inside corner a strike. Blanco playing for the injured Nate McLeod. Both starting pitchers at the end of 5 had thrown 73 pitches. But what started as a very easy 6th inning for Vasquez turned into a pair of walks, a hit, and a 1-0 lead, and threw 30 pitches in the inning.
Well, he's been great, but again, as you mentioned, the 2 walks. And then with Ortiz, he was ahead of Ortiz, 1 and 2, let him get away. He'll be kicking himself if he doesn't win this ball game.
And that is into center field, a base hit for Blanco. Well, that's his 2nd hit, and you got to believe he'll be off and running. He wasted no time stealing second base after a single with 2 outs in the 3rd. Are you trying to make me feel like a tall guy by doing this game broadcasting on your knees? Because I really appreciate it.
It's not good to tell everybody else. It's just so hot. Wow.
Bunted, foul.
See, I'm not so sure that I would bunt in this situation. I let Prado go up there, maybe take a few pitches, give Blanco an opportunity to steal a base, but you're asking a guy to go up and try to bunt a knuckleball pitcher. I'm not so sure about that. If I'm trying to get that runner to second, I'm going to put him in motion.
They've had 2 players in this game steal a base. One of them is the catcher, Brian McCann. I mean, now you steal second base, then ask the guy to bunt. Okay, maybe, but I'm with you all the way.
Yeah, you don't want to give away outs right now. And again, you've been so successful stealing bases.
And you can tell right there, Wakefield does not have a good move to first. I mean, Blanco could stretch that lead minimum 1.5 steps.
Well, and also you've got the issue David Ortiz playing first base right now. And I can tell you that, catching that throw from the pitcher, isn't it always as easy as it looks?
Well, they ask him to bunt, and he does it beautifully, advancing the runner on to second base for the first out of the inning, with tying run now in scoring position for Chipper Jones.
Well, you see, he gets the ball down, and Wakefield, when he picks it up, Blanco's already close to second base. You don't try to make the great play in that situation. What you want to do is get the out, then take your chances with the next hitter. If you don't get the out at second and you tried to throw there, then you've got real issues. You're giving up a big inning, or a potential big inning, with runners on first and second.
Well, you do have a base open here, but it would be putting the go-ahead run on base. And let's face it, Chipper Jones won a batting title last year and having an outstanding year this year. But as we sit here today on June the 27th, 2009, the best hitter in the Atlanta lineup is waiting on deck.
And really, Chipper Jones has struggled in the last 2.5 weeks. I mean, coming into today in his last 16 games, a 179 clip, only 1 RBI.
Tying run at second base is Blanco. 2-0 to Chipper Jones. Ball 3, nowhere near the plate. Of course, you put Jones at first. Granted, you got to deal with McCann, but you do set up the double play. 3-1.
Yeah, I'm just not so sure I want to get to the Brian McCann, Garrett Anderson. Garrett Anderson has hit 5 home runs against Tim Wakefield in his career. Hit one a little earlier today, just foul.
Perhaps activity will begin in the Boston bullpen. Red Sox lead 1-0, and it's a line caught by the second baseman Pedroia. So Jones on a 3-2 pitch hits it right on the screws, but allowed out. The Hyundai in-game box score for Atlanta. Introducing the all-new 306 horsepower real wheel Hyundai Genesis Coupe. The 2 hits by Blanco. 3 times a runner has reached second base, but obviously they failed to get him in, and there's strike 1 to Brian McCann. One walk, 1 strikeout, no runs, 3 hits allowed by Wakefield. Down the right field line, but foul.
I think the thing that's been impressive for me today with Wakefield is his ability to control the knuckleball, to keep it around the plate. You know, a lot of times where a guy will get in trouble that's a knuckleball pitcher, he can't command it, gets behind, and then has to throw that fastball or that cutter, which are pitches as a hitter, if you're looking for it, you will absolutely crush against the knuckleball pitchers.
0-2 to McCann, and it's rolled to the right side. Ortiz will feed Wakefield, and that is that. A leadoff single, the runner stranded at second. 1-0 Boston. We're after a break from your local Fox station. Terry Francona letting him know enough is enough.
Well,
we'll
I don't
see.
know. I don't know about that, because I think there's a situation here. We're looking at 7, 8, 9. So if there's a run scoring opportunity, then maybe you pinch hit for Wakefield, because again, we're not in the American League where we have the DH. So he may stay in the game, but you get guys on, maybe out.
So here is the number 7 hitter, Julio Lugo. First pitch hacking, pops it up into left field. 1 pitch, 1 out. Taco Bell bringing the heat. Our pitch speed comparison, and really this is not a factor at all for Tim Wakefield. See the fastball for Vasquez. Still had 93 miles per hour on the gun, even in that 6th inning.
And again, all you're looking for is to get the hitter's timing off. And that's what Wakefield has been able to do.
Wakefield is standing in the on-deck circle. And perhaps his fate will rest on the outcome of this at-bat. Routine ground ball, so Wakefield will look in the dugout, and well, he's walking back to the dugout. Mike Lowell will bat for him. Another outstanding effort by the 42-year-old native Floridian Tim Wakefield. You know, you and I were talking before the game today, Eric. We knew that going into the game, if he actually threw a pitch and started the game, that Tim Wakefield would tie Roger Clemens for the most starts in Boston Red Sox franchise history. But when you start looking in some of the other categories, 187 career wins, that's 6th among active hurlers. 173 of those are for Boston. He is only 19 wins away from the franchise record, which is shared by Roger Clemens and Cy Young, each with 192 wins. So today would be number 174 if he gets it. A legitimate chance to get there. Not this year. Obviously, he'd have to play another year. And he's only about, well, right at 100 innings away from becoming Boston's all-time leader in that category. Lowell shoots one into right, and Francoeur near the line runs it down. We'll talk more about that. But Tim Wakefield now leans on the best bullpen in baseball to nail down a 1-0 lead. Of 3-hit shutout baseball by Tim Wakefield. A 1-0 lead. He'll give way to Manny Del Carmen, and he's been a big part of that bullpen.
Well, you look at that 226 batting average from left-handed hitters. You've got Garrett Anderson, Casey Kochman, both left-handed hitters. And as we mentioned a little earlier, Tim Wakefield throwing a great ball game, a 1-0 lead. Garrett Anderson has hit 5 home runs against Tim Wakefield in his career. You get Wakefield out of the game now where he only has an opportunity to win.
Swing and a miss by Garrett Anderson. Pitcher profile presented by Zantac. Heartburn attacking Zantac. Attacking the strike zone is Manny Del Carmen. Well, you go back to August of last season. There's a ground ball to the glove side of Big Poppy. Almost took a big tumble before gathering himself and getting the out. But Del Carmen, since really getting his feet underneath him down there in that Boston bullpen, his earned run average is 1.4 going back to August of last year. And there's the bullpen ERA for the Red Sox, the best in baseball.
Well, and that's what we talked about. David Ortiz and his resurgence. Jason Bay's had a nice year so far. But really the difference or the success revolves around the Boston Red Sox pitching. The starters have done a great job. The relievers, the middle relief, Papelbon at the end of the game. I mean, this isn't the team that's going to go out and outscore you every day. But it's a team that can go out there and pitch as well as anybody in all of baseball.
Well, especially, Eric, you bring up a great point, because when you look inside the American League East, which generally year in and year out is one of the best, if not the best division in baseball. In the American League, of the 5 highest scoring teams, as Masterson and Okajima get loose in the bullpen, of the 5 highest scoring teams in the league, 4 of them are in the American League East. With Boston, the Yankees, that one lined in the right, caught for the second out of the inning, Toronto and Tampa Bay. So ultimately, the biggest difference with the Red Sox and the advantage, and it's a huge advantage, it's not a little advantage. The biggest difference and advantage Boston has over the other 3 this year is that bullpen.
Well, there's no question, and that's usually where you get hurt, is that middle relief prior to getting to the closer. With the Red Sox, they have guys that can get outs from either side of the plate. They have experience down there. And on top of that, you talk about the pitching. Smoltz adding depth, just coming back. You got Buchholz down in AAA, who with any other organization would be in the big leagues. Here's the Smoltzy right there.
Rancourt off the end of the bat. Fly ball into left center. It'll be Ellsbury, and a perfect 7th inning for Del Carmen. We're off to the 8th. Still Boston 1, Atlanta nothing. 1 run, 5 hits for the Red Sox. No runs, 3 hits for Atlanta. Top of the order for Terry Francona's team, and it's still Javier Vazquez, who needed all the 4 pitches to get 3 outs in the 7th inning. The Braves do have activity in their bullpen. A right-hander is up and a left-hander is up. Pedroia 1 for 3. And a count even, a ball and a strike. Peter Moylan, the right-hander. And the southpaw is Mike Gonzalez. He's their closer. Pedroia had a good pitch to hit right there and fouled it straight back.
Yeah, Pedroia having a good year, but really struggled this month so far. Coming into the game, 220 on base percentage, only 276. But again, the interesting thing about that, he's doing that, and the Red Sox are playing the best baseball they've played all year long and winning ball games.
Well, really, he's having a better year through the same number of games this year than he had in the same number of games last year. But of course, what took place after this point in time was just staggering as he went on to win the Most Valuable Player award. There's a first out of the inning. Through 74 games last season and 74 this year, higher batting average, much higher on base percentage, thus more runs scored. Slugging percentage a little down, but really it was right about now, this time last year, where you basically couldn't get him out for 3 months.
Right, and he started to really take off and basically carried that ball club. You know, Manny is traded. Pedroia, all of a sudden, he's hitting home runs, getting the big hit.
But I got to ask you, Eric, I mean, as a guy who primarily, in your case, hit in the heart of the order, I wonder if Pedroia, you know, last year when he put up those numbers, he was batting in that 2-hole. Now, as a leadoff hitter, does it affect his ability to put together a second half in that role?
Well, I don't think he will be as aggressive a hitter as he was last year. He's got a different role. But again, you get back to, you know, what he did last year. You kind of just thought that he would carry that into this year. And again, he's had a nice season so far. But he has struggled this month.
Slow roller off the bat of Drew, a hitless day for him. First time he didn't strike out. Take a look at the Smirnoff Ice game summary. Kotze, after back-to-back 2-out walks in the Boston 6th, single to left center field. That's been it. Wakefield, he's through for the day. 3 hits in 6 innings. Vazquez, now 7 2/3. A 5-hit, 1-run baseball. But again, as we talked about from the very beginning of this game, this has been the life which Javier Vazquez has led, wearing an Atlanta Brave uniform this season. You go back to the end of May, he has 4 quality starts, an ERA after today's performance right around 1.7 since then. Opponents are hitting under 200. And yet, only 1 victory to show for it, and he had to shut out the opposition to earn that.
Well, and that's what's held back this Atlanta Brave ball club. I mean, the offense has basically been non-existent. And I'm not sure when you start to look at the guys and what you've got about 90 games, a little less than 90 games to go. But, you know, are there guys out there that you feel are going to elevate themselves offensively? Chipper Jones has had a nice season. Struggled a little bit this last month, but you know, you don't worry about him. You don't worry about McCann. But is Frank Coeur going to be more productive? Is Kelly Johnson at second going to be more productive? You know, the center fielder, McCloughan, is he going to be healthy?
And really, that's been a common thread for a lot of teams around Major League Baseball, and especially the teams that believe they are a contending team, is, you know, like these numbers will show, having a hard time scoring.
Yeah, but I think it's easier if you've got the pitching. You can add a hitter here, a hitter there. But it's much more difficult if you've got a great offensive team if you think you're going to go out and get pitching. I mean, it doesn't happen. So I think if you're the Atlanta Braves, you've got to feel like you've still got hope because you think maybe we can add a hitter, maybe we get the offense going because the pitching, the starting pitching, has been great.
Two and two to Youkilis. Defensive swing there and able to make contact and wait on a better one. I mean, you look up and down the National League, teams like Atlanta, to a lesser extent the New York Mets, St. Louis, the Cubs, Cincinnati, San Francisco. All those teams very much feel like they're contending teams. They all have pitched very well. But I mean, day in and day out, it is a struggle to score. The Phillies score and the Dodgers score. And the Marlins, as you brought up earlier,
the Marlins
score.
can swing the bat as well. And I think a lot of people anticipated the Cubs hitting a lot better. The Cardinals were great at the beginning of the year. But you're right, it does go in cycles. But still, when you look at Atlanta and the pitching staff, that's your ray of hope.
We'll be sure to catch Hooked, the new series premiering this week on the National Geographic Channel. They'll search the world for the greatest fish. Well, it'll be fun. Check your local listings. 2 and 2 to Youkilis. Man, this guy, he just keeps working and working and working and waits for you to make a mistake.
Well, you hit it right on the head, and that's what good hitters do. They just constantly make every pitch, make every at-bat like it's their last. Keeps fouling off pitches, and eventually the pitcher makes that mistake. Hitter capitalizes.
119 pitches for Vasquez, a season high. This is the 10th pitch in this at-bat. And there'll be an 11th.
Well, and you say this is a season high. Last start against the Cubs was a season high, 116 pitches. So that's something that, again, he's coming off a season high in pitches. You're talking about this type of heat. But again, you're trying to get him through this inning to give him an opportunity to win a ball game.
His spot due up second in the bottom of the 8th inning. Hit hard into right field. Francoeur giving chase, and it's off the wall and comes all the way back towards the infield. This will be a triple for Youkilis. That is just a great at bat. And now decision time for Bobby Cox as he brings in Gonzalez to face Ortiz.
Well, he fights and fights and fights and then gets a fastball out over the plate and drives it to right field. See that ball bouncing away from Francoeur. An 11-pitch at bat. That looks like it'll be in for Javi Vasquez.
So Bobby Cox has made the decision. He wants the southpaw Gonzalez to face a left-handed batting David Ortiz in a 1-0 game. Bobby Cox during the at-bat, the extended at-bat to Youkilis. Also had Eric O'Flaherty, another left-hander, begin to throw in his bullpen. And it's O'Flaherty and not the closer, Gonzalez, that they will bring on to intentionally walk David Ortiz and then allow him to face the left-handed batting Mark Kotsay. Now the question is, if you're Terry Francona, even though he's had the day off thus far, do you send Jason Bay up there to bat for Mark Kotsay?
Well, that is an option, but then, Atlanta will probably counter with Moylan and the right side. And when you give a guy a day off, give him the day off. And that's part of the reason Jason Bay not in the lineup. And again, Terry Francona not only managing to win a ball game today, but managing for the course of the season. See Javi Vazquez not happy. Again, a great effort, but the frustration emanates.
Well, he cannot win it. He can, of course, lose it. And there's strike one, O'Flaherty to Kotsay. And Vasquez, at the very best, could get a no decision on this one. 0-1 to Kotsay. He knocked in the only run of this game, his last at bat in the 6th inning. Well, Youkilis at second and Ortiz at first. He lined a single into left center field. Two and one to Kotsay.
Well, and Kotsay really had a great at-bat against Vasquez. As you mentioned, he lined it into left center. Vasquez constantly going away. Kotsay recognizing that and shooting the ball into left field. Good two-strike at-bat.
2-1 to Kotsay. Check swing. It looked like he went, and the home plate umpire said he did.
See, this is what we were talking about. It's this pitch on the outer half of the plate, and Kotsay just shooting it to left field. And again, that's one of those things where the hitter taking what the pitcher gives him.
Still 2-2 as the fastball jams him, but he's able to hang in there. But what an outstanding effort again by Javier Vasquez. Only one game since mid-May has he allowed more than 2 runs in a game, and has 1 win. Into shallow center field, routine for Blanco, inning over. O'Flaherty gets the job done in relief of Vasquez. We go to the bottom of the 8th, still a 1-0 game. sponsored by Smirnoff Ice. Please drink responsibly. By Cadouette. And by Hyundai Assurance. A little certainty in uncertain times. Marcotte comes from left field to first base. David Ortiz out of the game. Rocco Baldelli takes over in Kotze's vacated spot. Still Manny Del Carmen on the mound in relief of Tim Wakefield. 1-0 Boston in front. Deory Hernandez to be followed by a pinch hitter. And then back to the top of the order in Blanco, who has 2 hits on the afternoon. Breaking ball high, 2-0. Masterson, the right-hander, along with the southpaw Okajima. Ready. Should Terry Francona want either one? And Mr. Papelbon just taking it easy. Should this lead carry into the ninth, he won't be sitting.
Well, remember, he came in last night, got in a little work.
Beautiful breaking ball there to even the count of 2-2.
See, the breaking ball just freezes Hernandez, gives up on it, drops right down the middle of the plate.
Breaking ball again, grounded foul. Hernandez struck out looking on what looked like ball 4 back into third inning. That was the only strikeout of the game for Wakefield. Then he singled into center field in the 5th. Did he go the appeal? And no, says Chad Fairchild. Full count to Deory Hernandez. Trying to get aboard to begin this 8th inning.
The last thing you want to do if you're Del Carmen, you see Soriano, the closer, last couple of games for the Braves. Been throwing the ball extremely well. Here you just can't walk a guy here. Got to throw a fastball right down the middle.
Which he does, and it's foul tip into the mitt for strike 3. Pepsi Cola, the official soft drink of Major League Baseball, congratulates Tim Wakefield, today's MLB Clutch Performer of the Game, presented by Pepsi. Learn more about the MLB Clutch Performer of the Month award by visiting PepsiClutch.com. Wakefield, his next start, will become the all-time record holder in that category in Boston franchise history. Going into play today, just 19 wins from tying Roger Clemens and Cy Young for most victories in Red Sox history. Matt Diaz announced as a pinch hitter, and Terry Francona will reach into that very deep bullpen with a 1-0 lead. In front, last of the 8th inning. And the young right-hander from Dayton, Ohio, is right-hander Justin Masterson. He'll take over and face Matt Diaz. Diaz not getting nearly as much playing time this season as the last couple of years when he was in a straight platoon out in left field and did a lot of damage with a bat. He can hit. But this year, Garrett Anderson, since coming off the disabled list, is playing virtually every day. And the number's not there for Diaz in a much more limited role.
See Gregor Blanco on deck. You wonder, why Masterson, a right-hander, after they had Del Carmen and the right-hander, but Masterson good against righties and less prone to giving up a long ball. Got a lot of movement, more of a sinker ball guy.
Well, you know the count. There's a strike. Masterson just 24 years old. Made 9 starts last season as a rookie. Pitched in 36 games overall and pitched very well. They like his future. 3-2.
You just watch the movement on his pitches. The fastball just runs hard into right-handed hitters, and it's a heavy ball. And you wonder, what is a heavy ball? Well, when you make contact, it actually feels like you don't hit it on the sweet spot. You're swinging and hitting a big old rock.
3-2 on Diaz, and there's ball 4. Time for a DirecTV game break. Arizona leading 1-0 in the 6th inning over the Angels. Eric Ibar lays down the bunt. Whoops on the throw made by Doug Davis. Ibar streaking for third, and oops again. Throwing error by Justin Upton. That tied the score at 1, and that's where they stand in the 9th inning. Arizona with Doug Davis and Dan Herron both having great seasons, and neither one can buy a win due to bad offense or a terrible bullpen.
I'm going to go after watching that highlight. Bad defense, too. I mean, that was just get a lot of guys standing around, people not backing up. Long year down there for that Diamondback ball club.
Gregor Blanco with a tying run at first, 1 out. We're in the bottom of the 8th inning. And that one thrown back to the screen, so Masterson having a hard time finding the strike zone. Fell behind Diaz, 3-0, got it to 3-2 before issuing a walk. And now a wild pitch puts a tying run in scoring position.
See Masterson just sort of slinging it. Not real command of anything, and the ball gets away from the catcher Gutierrez. Now this is a thing where, as a pitcher, he's got so much movement. He doesn't have to try to make something happen. Just go out there, throw the ball over the plate, and let it move. Let it sink to the inside. Let it go to the outside. When guys like this try to make things happen and try to force the issue, that's where they get into trouble. You just let their natural ability take over, their natural movement take over.
Fourth time Atlanta has put a runner at second base in the game. The first 3 were all against Tim Wakefield, and they couldn't get the big hit.
But you see, this is the movement I'm talking about. You just set up down the middle and let the movement work off the catcher's spot right down the middle of the plate. That thing runs to the outer half of the plate. Blanco has no chance.
1 ball, 2 strike pitch. Pulled to the right side, gobbled up by Kotsay. Advancing to third Diaz, but there are 2 out in the inning.
Well, nice play by Kotsay. This is a guy that's been in the outfield all game long, comes to the infield. Part of the switches, and this ball has a lot of top spin. Gets the ground, he stays in front of it. Nice hop there. See him look at the runner as well.
Atlanta without a hit in the first 2 games of this series with a runner in scoring position, 0 for 15. 10 of those at-bats came last night. Oh, and 1 on Martin Prado, who's lined to right, bounced to third, and put down a sacrifice. Flair into short right field. Drew is there, inning over. So Masterson rights the ship after a 1-out walk. Tying run stranded at third. 1-0 as we go to the ninth. One run, 6 hits for Boston. No runs, 3 hits for Atlanta. Taking over on the mound, hard throwing right-hander Rafael Soriano. Healthy again and throwing the ball the way I expect him to throw. Came up originally, of course, with Seattle. Had a very promising start to his career. Came to Atlanta, had one really good season. Has had a hard time staying healthy ever since.
Well, you hit it right on the head, staying healthy, because when he has been healthy, been dominant. Just a hard thrower, fastball, slider.
Ellsbury, Lugo, Gutierrez due up, swing and a miss on a high heat.
You know, and the other thing that's made him effective is watch Ellsbury go after that fastball out of the zone. He's been able to command the strike zone, work ahead of hitters, so he hasn't had to pitch in that 2-0 count, 3-1 count.
Slow roller. And coming in to get it, throwing him out is Martin Prado. For the first out here in the ninth. Baseball's biggest stars go head to head in the summer's biggest event as Fox brings you every thrilling moment of the 2009 Major League Baseball All-Star Game. The president throws out the first pitch during the Pepsi pregame show. Coverage begins Tuesday, July the 14th, live from St. Louis, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, right here on Fox. Lugo with 1 out, nobody on, and there's a strike. You take a look at the leading vote getters thus far, and we begin in the American League. Talked about Jason Bay and the year he's having. That's a good-looking club right there.
How about the year Joe Mauer's having?
Oh.
After missing the first month of the season.
In the air, right side of the infield for Prado. 2 away. On the National League side, Ibanez on the disabled list, having a great season for the Phillies. Albert Pujols, the overall leading vote getter. David Wright, a great batting average, but not hitting the home runs in Spacious City Field.
Yep. But again, really, he's the only one left standing on that ball club. I mean, been decimated with injuries. Reyes out, Delgado, Beltran.
Yep.
Yeah, I can't wait to see Pujols though in St. Louis, in his hometown, and I mean, enough can't be said. I mean, you're talking about one of the great right-handed hitters the game has ever seen. Not talking about the last 10 years or 20 years, but the numbers that he has put up so far in his career compare with the Babe Ruth, the Lou Gehrig. Now, I pay to watch him any day of the week.
Oh, yeah. 1-1 on Contreras. Now, Nick Green has moved in the on-deck circle. You see Papelbon getting ready. That is the pitcher spot due up next. A 1-0 ball game. Back in the 6th inning. In a scoreless duel, Vasquez retired Pedroia and Drew before he walked Youkilis in an extended at bat. Ortiz followed after Vasquez got ahead 0-2. He managed to draw a walk. And then Kotze singled to left center field, scoring Youkilis, and that's been it offensively for either club. Take a peek ahead to the Atlanta 9th inning. Chipper Jones, Brian McCann, and Garrett Anderson due up. And that's a trio we'll see against Jonathan Papelbon. Trying to nail it down for Wakefield. It's a 1-0 game. bat in the 9 spot. He comes on to play shortstop. And taking over on the mound, one blown save this season for Jonathan Papelbon. That was during interleague play against the New York Mets.
And he's going to really have to earn his save today, as you mentioned, facing the heart of the lineup, Chipper Jones, McCann, and Garrett Anderson.
Well, here we go, last of the 9th inning. First pitch, gas, strike one, swinging to Jones. Wakefield, 6 innings, 3 hits, no runs. Del Carmen a perfect inning and a third. Masterson walked a batter, retired 2 to end the 8th inning. But Jones had a good rip at that fastball, 96 miles per hour.
Well, and Papelbon trying to work away. One-run ball game, you don't want to leave a ball over the middle of the plate or the inner half, where a guy can drive it out of the park. You work to the outer half of the plate. And again, if somebody goes out there and gets it, then you got to tip your hat. If you're going to miss away. Don't miss over the middle of the plate.
So right from the start, Gutierrez wanted that fastball up in the strike zone.
Yeah, you know, against a younger hitter, an inexperienced hitter, I see where that pitch may make some sense. But a guy like Chipper Jones is not going to go after something like that. Got to get something that's closer to the strike zone.
1-2 on Chipper Jones. Fought it off.
Again, everything has been away. You know, and that's where if you're a smart pitcher, you continue to go away. You don't let your ego get in the way of what you're trying to do and think, I'm going to sneak a fastball in. That's when you get burned, especially against a future Hall of Famer like Chipper Jones.
Fastball in on Jones, and he fouls it away. Count still 1-2.
A lot of thinking going on right now. Chipper trying to set up Papelbon and Gutierrez trying to set up Jones. Shaking pitches off, moving location.
In the air and playable. Euclid calls off the catcher for the first out in the bottom of the 9th.
You see, he wanted it on the inner half of the plate. You see this ball making its way right down the middle. Not where he wanted to throw it, but got away with it in that situation. That's why I said you work away, you'll miss even farther out, but you try to go inside, you run the risk of missing over the middle of the plate.
Well, here's a guy right now you better miss away. Because McCann can turn around just about anybody's fastball. And they start him with a first pitch breaking ball.
Well, and that's why he probably won't see a fastball, or at least if he is going to get a fastball, it'll be off of the plate.
McCann 1 for 4 against Papelbon. Fastball coming.
Coming in, too.
Ooh. Taken right down the middle by McCann.
Well, he's got away with two of them. The one to Chipper Jones that guitarist set up inside it, went over the middle of the plate. That one, Papelbon at least kept it low, but did not hit the location.
Had to be guessing there, right?
Well, that's what you're looking for, a certain pitch. And right there, because he had the off speed on the first one, you're looking off speed again. Gets a fastball and just freezes it.
1-1 to McCann. Off speed for strike two.
This is that cutter, that slider, that in on the hands. And right now, if you're Papelbon, you got to go. I would go with something, fastball away. You know, you got McCann thinking about that inner half pitch. That slider, I'd go a fastball off the plate on the outside. He's going inside.
Tried to get a strike three fastball on the inside corner and didn't miss by much.
See Smoltz and Beckett watching this game.
McCann out of the box, wanting time and right back in it.
Gives him the same sign. Papelbon shakes off once and goes right back to it.
Fastball in the air, right center field. Drifting back is Ellsbury with room, and the two bump into one another. And the right fielder, Drew, makes a catch. So McCann just misses turning around the Papelbon fastball and tying the game. And then Boston, a near disaster in the outfield.
And again, we're trying to go in the inner half of the plate with a fastball, and he misses. Out over the plate, McCann, another couple of feet. We've got ourselves a tie ball game. Now you see Ellsbury, he's calling for it. He's got his hand up. J.D. Drew doesn't hear him, comes over, makes a catch. But again, that's the danger of trying to go inside, because if you do miss location, see, he knows he missed it. But he got away with it because he throws 95 miles an hour.
Of course, this is not a hitter's park by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, you got to more than earn it here. That's 300 and, well, nearly 400 feet to the deepest part of right center.
And the humidity, heavy air.
Oh, and 1 on Garrett Anderson. Atlanta down to its final out, trailing 1-0. Now Anderson, although an outstanding career, been one of the best hitters in all of baseball for 15 years, he's not the home run threat the other two are.
No, he's not. But still, you can't leave something on the inner half of the plate. See, Guitarist taking that ball off of the shoulder. You know, not a lot of padding in that, up near the top of that chest protector. I tell you, catchers take a beating. That's why any offense that they ever provide, that's gravy.
Well, Papelbon a strike away from saving this one for Tim Wakefield. Still 0-2.
That's a nice pitch right there. That's a pitch low and away. Garrett Anderson does a nice job of fighting it off. You talk about this Braves offense, 8 times already shut out, most in the National League, and they're on the verge of having a 9th time.
Two again to Garrett Anderson. And again able to put the bat on the ball. Count remains 0-2. Lined into left center field. Ellsbury on the run. Not going to get it. It goes to the wall. So the tying run stands at second on a 2-strike double with 2 outs here in the 9th inning off the bat of Garrett Anderson.
Nice job by Garrett Anderson fighting off those pitches in the outer half of the plate. See Gutierrez, he sets up and away. He wants a pitch out of the zone. Look where Papelbon hits it, right down the middle of the plate. Again, he misses his spot, trying to throw a pitch out of the zone, hoping that Anderson would go after it. Does a nice job of driving it to left center. And again, the Braves have an opportunity, another runner in scoring position.
And you have a hitter in Casey Kochman that is very much a contact hitter. Papelbon, as you know, is very much a strikeout pitcher. Kochman, a tough guy to strike out. That's a 500th career double, by the way, for Garrett Anderson. 49th player to reach that number in the history of the game. First pitch swinging Kochman. Pedroia, game over. Wakefield, Del Carmen, Masterson, and Papelbon combined on a 4-hit shutout. Boston back-to-back wins.